Welcome to episode 8.23 of the Grumpy Brothers podcast. I am Chris Ludvigsen, joined by Ted. Say hey, Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Thank you to our listeners. Please subscribe and listen on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or Odyssey. Also, please follow us here on millions.co. Ted, we were talking beforehand that that it had warmed up, so you didn't have one of your
Yeah.
Maryland hoodies on, but I see you're still repping
Oh,
the
yeah. This is
Juggernaut,
a
and
nice shirt.
that is a beauty. I do like
Oh,
that.
wait a minute. Look at this. When you stand up, look at all that.
Oh, it's got the thing down. It's got the piping down the sides.
Fancy. Well, no, it's got like in the middle. It's got like black.
Oh, look at that!
It's
Wow.
fancy, man. We look good. We can't play, but we look good. Actually, the women's lacrosse, the men's soccer teams, men's lacrosse, women's field hockey, they're killing it.
Just none of the money-making sports.
None of the money-making ones. None of the ones that are actually on TV. Yeah.
Before we just to get ourselves too far off the field right off the gate, my guy Colin Coward was saying that Nick Saban is a bit of a hypocrite now because he's complaining about how NIL is kind of spiraling out of control. And Coward's comment was, hey, Nick, it wasn't spiraling out of control when you were making $8 or $10 million a year as a coach, but now that the players are getting paid, now it's spiraling out of control.
Well, that and that's true. But the other part of that is now that the players are actually getting paid, the little checks that get not checks, but the little amounts of cash that get handed out, and that everybody's above board. So
the $100 handshake has gone away.
The drop in the money on he take.
Oh, did I drop that? That must have been yours. I didn't drop anything.
Well, I heard one with what was that guy's name? Jackie Sherrill or whatever his name was.
Yeah, former Pitt coach. Yeah,
and I think he was at Texas A&M, and he had a couple of instances with the NCAA, but apparently it was related to him. I don't, who knows if it's true or not, but apparently his thing was he would take the recruit out for dinner or his parents out to dinner, and the check would come and he would drop like $1,000 on the table and say, pay it with this.
Yes.
And I'm going to the bathroom and I'll be
back. And the check was $50.
Well, it might have been more than that. But I mean, even if it was $150,
exactly.
Make sure you give them a good tip, but
Yeah. The kid is still clearing $800
right,
at a time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Somebody is. Yeah. Anyway, that's only rumor and innuendo. Who knows?
There you go. But Jackie did did get good players.
Yes, he did.
Ted, we're going to begin today with the two big trades in the NFL from this past week, and then we're going to continue our review of the NBA and NHL playoffs now that we're in the finals. Before we get to those topics, Ted, what's making you grumpy today?
Okay, so I went, I have a doctor's appointment in 2 weeks, and I went to they always want you to do blood work ahead of time so they can tell you how, you are really in bad shape. You may have walked in here, but your blood, oh, God. So as I'm walking into this place, and I remember seeing this before, I just hadn't, so I walk into the lab. It's a LabCorp facility. I don't know if you have them, but they're kind of a big outfit. So I don't know if this particular sign on the door, I don't know if it's just in our location or if it's something they've decided. It said, no firearms allowed. Yeah, that's a pretty good rule. Yeah. Here, I need to give a sample. Bam, let me blow my toe off. There'll be blood everywhere. No firearms allowed. Yeah, I guess not. And then it's so. This is what I don't get about this place. You can make an appointment.
Yes.
And when you the day of or the day before, you get something back, like a text on your phone, and it says if you want to check in, you just push this button, and they know you're here, and you check in, and you do that because they have all your information. Because I've been there before, so So why do I, after I've checked in and I'm waiting for my appointment time, I get the woman who, by the way, now at our place they used to have just a sign-in sheet. And this is what the procedure was before. Sign-in sheet, They pre-COVID, they would call you up, they would check your information, and then they take you back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now the window is completely closed. It's always
Hmm.
closed. Okay. So the woman who is or who anybody who's taking the administrative part, uh, they yell out your name,
Mm.
you know, and she's not facing the window. She's facing like away from the window. So she's yelling out your name and it's rattling around, and if you don't like respond in 3 seconds, she yells it again. I'm like, geez, I just got up, give me a second, So so then they look through your, you show them your ID or whatever, and they look through, and then they go and they find the order, and they go, okay, you can sit back down now. What about taking me? We could have. I mean, I pushed the button that said I'm here.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
already have my information. Why do I have to come here now and sit here and then go back out into the waiting room for the next guy to come, the guy that's actually going to take the blood to come and
Check you in
then call
again.
me. And well, he doesn't have to check me in now. He just says go back to
Yeah.
lab 1 or whatever. And I'm like, since COVID came, you've now added an extra step to this process. And I thought the idea was to minimize human contact as much as possible. Because holy cow, we can't possibly use the same pen to sign in. Because last
The
I
death
checked,
pen.
because I mean, if I don't think, and with all the what's the Purell that's all over
Yes.
the place everywhere, so you can sign in with the pen, you can Purell yourself, and as long as you don't put your finger up your nose or in your mouth or something, you're probably not going to catch COVID from there. You have a better chance of catching it from the people that are breathing that you're sitting around, right? And have you seen this deal? I don't know if you've seen at a doctor's office, the used pens thing.
Yeah. Oh,
They
yeah.
use
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
the used
Yeah.
pens. Like, come on. Come on. I mean, there's Purell everywhere. Just give me a little thing and I'll wipe it down. Stop. Before COVID, everybody would come in and they'd be hacking their lungs out. You have to be sitting next to them. But now we can't touch a pen. Anyway.
Ted, I was on planes again this week. Oh my gosh, the hacking
Yeah.
that goes on in planes. I'm shocked I don't come out sick every time.
Actually, you know what? That's doing you more good than it is harm most of the time, because you're
It's building up
catching
your immunity,
you're just
getting
catching
just a
a
little bit
little
of
bit.
it.
A little bit. You're getting a little bit of it, and so you're building up your immunity to a whole variety of things. I mean, planes in general are,
Yeah.
pretty disgusting from the
Yeah.
from the sounds of it, as would be any public transportation system. So, I mean, but so I think you're actually building up healthy immunity. You're probably
Okay.
doing okay. I mean, you're going to get sick once in a while, but
Yes.
by and large, I think you're probably. I mean, how many colds have you had in the last year?
I haven't had any for a while now.
Yeah, and how many planes have you been on?
A lot.
Okay, there you go. Natural
So,
immunity. You're in the herd.
thank you, Dr. Fauci. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. Much was
No, don't go there. No.
exactly.
I don't need that kind of attention.
No. None of us do. Ted, my grump, I mentioned I was traveling last week. So my grump is about my traveling. And
Yeah.
I had some issues with the hotel showers, Ted.
You've had this before. Is this a
Well,
different issue? Or
yes.
was it a different hotel chain, or
Oh,
just
well,
a
okay. So the first place I went into um, was a Marriott Courtyard. It was fairly
yeah.
new, and it was very nice,
Yeah.
well appointed, all of that kind of good stuff. And they they went a little modern with the shower stall, Ted. You
Yeah.
know how the modern shower stalls these days just have like half of it is covered with a
Right,
wall
right,
or
right,
glass,
right, right,
so you
right,
don't
right.
have a door anymore. You just walk
Right,
in,
right, right, right. Yeah.
and obviously the idea of this is that the water stays on the half that has the wall.
Right, right.
Okay, so I turned on the water and I let it warm up a little bit, and I walked back out to do something. I can't remember what I did. And I walked back in. By the time I walked in, I had Lake Minnetonka's in my bathroom. Like all of the spare towels were on the floor. Like this didn't work out too well here, guys. I don't know what's going on. So I thought to myself, okay, clearly there's something about the setting on the shower head that is making it spray in too wide of a disbursement, right?
Possible.
Okay. So I go in and I start turning the shower head.
Yeah.
And when I turn it, it goes from a very wide spray to multiple versions of single streams just sort of dripping out, right?
Okay.
And I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, well, that's not good for a shower. So I keep on trying to find some type of setting that is somewhere in between the
Yeah.
lake situation
Yeah.
and the single spray. And I couldn't find anything. So eventually I put it back on the full spray because I had to clean myself off. But then, Ted, it had great water pressure. I mean,
Yeah.
great water pressure
Right. Yeah.
to the point where with my
It hurt.
poor scalp, I thought it was digging ditches into my, you know how sometimes it comes out like in a projectile, like it feels like it has a point hitting your head. You know that feeling?
Not really, no, but I guess I have a harder head
I
than you
thought
do.
I thought I was going to come out of there bloodied. I thought I was going to like calling down to the front office and like, you have 65 band-aids for my poor scalp. So the second
That's
day,
water pressure.
that was water pressure, baby. It was like the Kramer
Yeah, right, that's all I'm thinking of. This he goes back.
from the Russian black market. Ted, they have great
Yeah,
water
right, yeah.
pressure over there.
Yeah.
So anyway, the second day I'm at a Hampton Inn, and there had the normal shower stall, beautiful, no worries about any lakes forming or anything. And I turned the water on, and I'm trying to finagle it to get the temperature just right. And I eventually get in thinking, okay, I'll move the shower head out of the way, so the water's not hitting you because it's either coming down in frozen icicles or as lava, right? Somewhere,
Okay.
right? So I think, okay, let me move the shower head out of the way so I'm not getting pelted with one of those two. But the shower head is so high, I have to be Victor Wembanyama to reach it.
And you're having a tough week.
Every so often, Ted, every so often now, they've cracked the code, which is you put the handle on the opposite side of the shower head.
Right. Yeah.
That way you can turn it on and kind of stand in the back and okay,
Right.
now
Yeah.
it's right.
Yeah.
Was not happy with my showering situation.
Well,
Well.
when I was reffing one of the high schools, and it was one of the newer high schools, had a kind of a lake situation in the shower in the coach's office where we actually changed there was like a coach's locker room kind of thing. They had like they had the shower floor drained out.
Okay.
But they never put a drain or a block or anything, so the water just would hit the floor and just drain out.
Somewhere.
Well, I mean, out into this, because it was in a bathroom, so it was like in front of the toilet, or to get to the toilet, you would have to skate across this ponding area if you use the water. And you're sitting there going, "You guys spent $85 million on this school, and you got the shower part wrong."
Yeah.
I wouldn't use that plumbing contractor again if I were you, but what do I know?
All right, here we go, Ted. You ready?
Yep.
All right, that was actually pretty good that time. I
Yeah,
had
that
myself
was.
all set
Yeah.
up. All right, I have confidence you're going to get this one, so I'm going to be ready. You ready, Ted?
Okay.
All right, we're going to talk hockeys. We're going to talk Carolina Hurricanes hockey here in a little bit, Ted. Their franchise goes back 46 seasons, beginning in Hartford as the Whalers.
Yeah.
Ted,
Okay.
who's the franchise all-time leader in goals and points?
How would I know that? Rod. Is it Rod? It's not Rod Brindamore, right? I
You would
didn't think
know
so.
that
How about
because you're the I just gave you the trivia king building.
yeah,
Of
I know.
course, you're supposed to know this. He's
Who cares
a
about the
really,
Hartford Whalers?
a really
Ron
good player.
Francis.
Ron
Ron Francis.
Francis. Golly, how hard? How hard? How
Hey,
hard
look,
was
sometimes you
that?
got you want to put a little element of suspense into this. You know, you don't
How
want
the
you don't
hell?
want the people to turn on and go, well, yeah, he's going to get that right. Yeah.
The disdain, Ted. The disdain in that reaction was beautiful. Um, Ted, Francis had 382 goals and 1,175 points.
Ah, good.
In the
Yeah, yeah,
goals
good
scored,
player.
yep, in the goals scored, uh, current captain Jordan Stahl, his older brother Eric Stahl is in second. Current player Sebastian Aho is in third. If you go back to the Whalers days, Kevin Dineen,
Oh
the right
yeah, yeah,
wing.
yeah, yeah.
And Ted, I don't remember this guy in fifth place. Blaine Stoughton played in the
Uh,
70s. I don't remember
m-
him.
didn't they start in the World Hockey League? Maybe that's where he played.
Yes,
Yeah, maybe that's why we didn't know him because he was in the World Hockey League for
maybe,
some of that
maybe.
time. There was an actually, I don't, I think it was on the Hockey Channel. An interesting thing about their franchise history and
Mm,
how they ended up in Carolina and all the things, which is always the same story. It's essentially the same story all
yeah,
the time. Is
yeah,
that they screwed up the money and
sure.
uh, uh, but uh, at the time that that was made, the Hartford Whalers jersey was in the top 5 of jerseys
How about
being
that?
sold nationally.
Huh.
And you're sitting there thinking to yourself, the Hartford Whalers haven't been a team, haven't been
Yeah,
a thing really in what 20 something years.
at
They
least.
won they won it they won it in Carolina in 2006. So
Yes. Yeah.
probably 25, 30 years maybe. I don't know.
Ted, if I remember correctly, the Whalers were the team where Gordie Howe played with his two sons.
I think so. Yeah. 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 I think that's right. Yeah, when they went back, I think he played with them in the World Hockey League
Yes.
in Houston.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Houston became Hartford. I don't know, but and then when they went into the NHL, that way he got back to play
Yeah.
with them in the NHL. But yeah, either way, he was still what like 52 years old or
51, yeah,
something.
something like 51, 52
Yeah.
years old. All right, Ted, let's go out to the NFL trades and let's begin with Myles Garrett going from the Browns to the Rams. The Browns get back third-year edge rusher, former first-round pick Jared Verse. The Rams 2027 first-round pick, 2028 second-round pick, and 2029 third-round pick. Now we've discussed the Rams are all in.
Yeah, I mean that trade. As soon as I heard that trade, I had this envision of a guy at the poker table in Vegas just pushing the chips
Les
in.
Snead, the
Yeah,
GM.
yeah. We're in for the next 2 years. That's we are. I guarantee you, we are in for the next 2 years. Yeah, yeah. That's all I can envision is somebody pushing his chips to the table. Yeah. So yeah,
I like this for both teams.
yeah, yeah. Garrett for the Browns was a maraschino cherry on top of yeah, you know, right? They didn't need him. He wasn't. He how many games is he going to win for the Browns? 2, maybe.
Okay, so Ted, there you go. In the last 2 years, well, last year Garrett set the all-time sack record.
Right.
And the last 2 years, I forgot to write it down. I know how many he has in the last 5 combined. But Ted, in the last 2 years, for all of his greatness, and he has been great, they're 8-26.
Right. Right. Yeah. He's not going to make them. Oh, sorry. He makes them 10-24.
Well, and Colin Coward, I thought, made an excellent point when he was discussing this, which is for the Browns, his record is even more impressive based on the fact that at the end of the game, generally the Browns are losing, the other teams are running the ball, they're not passing it.
Right. Right.
When he goes to the Rams with that offense and that team, most games in the fourth quarter, the other team's going to be behind him throwing the ball around. He's going to get even more chances to make sacks.
Yeah. I mean, the big knock was always on him. Right. Was that he wasn't a play to play guy. Right.
Right.
He would take plays off.
Right.
If he's resolved that particular little issue, and he's going to get a lot of chances, and now he's going to be double teamed, but they have better play. He was being probably triple teamed in Cleveland, so that the Rams have better players. So you would think that he would have more, like you said, more chances to be rushing the passer.
So last season, and particularly in the NFC conference final, the primary reason I think that the Rams did not go to the Super Bowl and likely win the Super Bowl was that they gave up 346 pass yards and 3 touchdowns to the Seahawks and Sam Darnold. So in the
Yeah.
offseason, they trade for McDuffie, very good player. They also bring in Jalen Watson, another former Kansas City Chief cornerback and a very good player. Now they trade for Garrett.
Yeah.
And Ted, you made the comment a moment ago, even when trading Jared Verse, the Rams defensive line still has Kobe Turner, Poona Ford, who's sort of a take up the middle run defender kind of guy. But Braden Fisk is a very nice defensive tackle, and Byron Young is a nice edge rusher also. Now, those 4 guys, none of them are great players in and of themselves, but those 4 guys combined for 24 sacks.
Right.
So if you double team Garrett, which I'm sure you're still going to have to do, and you single block these guys, they might get more than 24.
Yeah.
And the most important thing for the Rams, Ted, is in the offseason in this trade, we've said many times in the last couple of years that the best way to defend the pass in the current NFL is to rush with 4 and
right. Rush with 4. Yeah.
This team is going to rush
cover
with 4.
with 7. Yeah.
They're
going to rush with 4 and cover with 7. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, or they can be effective doing it. I'm sure they'll blitz from time to time and all that kind of stuff, but their base plan is going to be 4. This reminds me a lot of what Tampa did when Brady came, because they were in San Francisco, even though they didn't win it with for the last when they went to the Super Bowl. Our primary thing is we can get there with 4.
Yeah.
And then it's a lot harder. And you have now quality defensive backs, which, you can make it even harder.
You can play tight man coverage, make the quarterback take that extra beat and just that extra beat is probably the difference between Garrett getting home and not getting home. Ted, one of the things that now, I don't watch every minute of every Cleveland Browns game.
Right.
Who does? But anyway, one of the things I like about Garrett, he's 30 years old. So I still think he has, for the length of his contract, I think he's still a premier player. But Ted, in the last 5 seasons, Garrett has played in 83 of the 85 Browns games.
Like that. Yeah.
And has 83 sacks in those games. If he continues with a sack a game and these other guys get a sack a game or more, and that offense, this team is going to be really, really hard to beat. Now, let's go out to Cleveland.
Yeah. I prefer not to go again. But we'll go there. It's okay.
Ted, did you go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when you went to Cleveland?
No, it was a work thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if that was open when I was there.
We went. The executive producer's older brothers hooked us up with tickets to see Bon Jovi be inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay. So the day of, we went out and toured the museum, and it's really, really great fun to see the first electric guitar that some guy built. It was like, weighs like 100 pounds.
Yeah, right.
It's this absolute brick of a thing. But anyway, we talked about that. We don't, even if they had kept Garrett, we don't think they're a playoff team.
No.
Now, last year, they drafted the defensive player of the year, an inside linebacker, Carson Schwarzenegger from, I think, UCLA, 2nd round pick. They got Quinshawn Junkins, a very good running back from the Ohio State University. This year, they bring in a nice offensive tackle, Spencer Fano. They bring in 2 wide receivers, KC Concepcion and Denzel Boston. They bring in a very good safety that people might not know about, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. They're adding a lot now. And Verse is not Garrett. Let's get that on the table.
No.
in his first 2 seasons, he's played all 34 games, which we like. He has
Yeah,
12
yeah.
sacks, solid. So he's another good player. They have Denzel Ward, a very good cornerback. There's a lot of nice pieces in Cleveland. I think the general manager is doing a good job adding pieces. It all comes down to one thing.
Quarterback. They don't have one. Where they haven't established one, right?
So is it completely outside the realm of possibility that somehow Deshaun Watson rediscovers his Houston form and becomes a B-level quarterback, somewhere between 12
I
and
think they would
18?
love that. I think they would love if that would happen.
If
Because then at least they're competitive then at
right,
that position.
if that were to happen, if he were to get to that level, I think that team can be 500.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, with
Now
everything else. But he hasn't
let's
played in 2 years, right?
yeah, let's say Watson gives it a go and it just doesn't happen. You give the ball to Shadur
Yeah.
and you see, okay, you
We're
got
gonna
all
find
17
out.
games. Got all
Yeah, we're gonna
17
find
games.
out. You're gonna
Yep.
find out. You're gonna find out if he can play. Yep.
And then if it turns out he can't play, they've got an incredible amount of draft capital. You go get one of the highly talented quarterbacks in the draft next year, and you have a team that is set to perhaps pop in 27, 28, 29.
Yeah, with the number of draft picks they have, they could possibly even trade for an experienced quarterback that's in a contract situation where, you know.
Let me throw a name at you, Ted.
Yeah.
After this season, and this will be a perfect segue. After this season, Jalen Hurts will have 1 year left on his deal.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's say it doesn't work in Philly.
Define doesn't work. They don't win the Super Bowl, or they don't go to the
They
Super Bowl.
finished 10-7 and lose in the first round of the playoffs again.
Okay.
And Hurts is an average quarterback.
Okay. All right.
And he's got $50 million left in 1 year.
Yeah,
See,
they can afford it.
See, but if I were the Browns general manager and I had the choice of trading a first and a second for Jalen Hurts, let's say,
Yeah.
or picking Dante Moore,
I'd take the pick.
I take Dante Moore. Yeah, because
I got one for you, whose contract could be. I don't know, what about C.J. Stroud?
Ooh,
come back to Ohio, all that kind of stuff. I mean, if he has a halfway decent year and Houston doesn't want to pay or whatever, he doesn't want to stay there or whatever, I mean, they have options. They'll have options because then they'll be able to, like I said, they could take one pick or two picks and trade. What I was getting at was, and I'm just using, he's not the guy, but, saying, something happens in San Francisco or whatever, and they say, well, here's two picks for Brock Purdy, or you go to someplace else and you get Sam Darnold or whoever, whoever it is,
like
somebody's experienced, and for whatever reason, it's not working there. And it's time for them, time for a separation.
I'll throw another name at you. From what I understand, Baker's not happy about his contract situation.
Right.
Bring him back to Cleveland. Something like that.
Yeah, there are a variety of options that they would have given the amount of draft picks they have, and they don't really have anybody now that's making boatloads of money, right? Garrett was their last Watson's still paid, but he's not paid what a quarterback
is getting these days. He's in the 40 range.
And his contract got to be coming close to?
I can't remember if this is his last year or if next year is his last year.
Yeah. So I mean, they would have options. He's the only big money guy on their roster, right?
Yeah. All right, let's go to the second big trade, which was the worst kept secret in football, with the Philadelphia Eagles trading wide receiver AJ Brown for a 2028 first round pick and a 2027 fifth round pick. I like this for the Patriots. They reunite Brown with Vrabel, who coached him in Tennessee. So Vrabel knows what he's getting, both good and bad.
Right.
And Mike Vrabel, for all of his off the field issues that have people questioning him, in the locker room, on the field, it is clear to me that Mike Vrabel knows how to handle players.
Yeah.
And keep them.
Well, he was one. Yeah. He knows how. He was one. Yeah.
but he knows what he's getting with AJ
Yeah,
Brown. He
right.
knows what
Yeah.
AJ what makes him tick and what
And
how to.
AJ Brown knows what he's getting when he goes to play for Vrabel. Yeah.
And from what I understand, AJ Brown was a Patriots fan growing up, so he's ecstatic. Now, after after this past season, the Patriots released Stephon Diggs. They needed a number one receiver. AJ
Right.
Brown clearly fits that role. In the offseason, in a free agent, they signed my former Packer wide receiver Romeo Doubs, who I think is a perfect number two. Then last year, Butte, the kid from LSU, kind of popped. He's now a very, very good number three. You have Hunter Henry at tight end. You have two good running backs. The offense, I think, is there. It's ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, I think Brown is probably potentially more consistent than Diggs ever was, you know. But he has not he has not been what I would consider what when you look at him, you think there's more. It's like the guy in Pittsburgh, Pickett.
DK Metcalf.
Metcalf, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Metcalf. Yeah, you think there's more there. Now, maybe in Philadelphia, he wasn't used the way that they did in Tennessee and whatever. They it didn't work out for him in Philadelphia the way that they thought it would or he thought it would. So, but yeah, that's my biggest thing is does he still have that ability to be a true number one who's going to get 6, 7 catches and 100 yards on a regular basis?
Ted, I
I
want
think
to
he
throw,
does,
but
but
Ted, I want to throw some numbers at you. In his 4 seasons in Philadelphia,
yeah.
339 catches. Let's
Oh,
see,
now we got to do math. That's
yeah,
80.
339 divided by 4. So he's averaging 85 catches a year,
Yeah.
and he had 5,034 yards. He was over 1,000 yards each year. So over 1,250 average yards per season. And he had 32 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns. So if you told me right now he's going to get 85 catches, 1,200 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
I'm okay with that. I think that it seemed like a lot of it must have happened at the beginning because the last couple years there's always been these. I mean, his numbers might.
Last year was his least productive year from a yardage standpoint. But Ted, he's still only 28 years old.
Okay,
And
that's good.
and now
Well, I think he's gonna. I think he can be that guy. The guy that teams. Okay, look, we got to
yeah,
stop whatever number he's going to wear.
he's going to wear number 1.
Okay, so number 1, we have to shut him down,
right?
And then we'll see if we can beat. Yeah, I think he can be that guy.
Yeah.
I just don't think that Philadelphia was intent on spreading it around.
Okay, but now clearly, I think the reason this happened is there was obviously a personal relationship issue between Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. I don't know what it is, but clearly something's happening. But I want to talk about it from the Eagles' perspective, Ted, because I'm going to make a statement, and you tell me if you agree or not. Eagles general manager Howie Roseman may be the number one reason that the Eagles have become such an elite team in the last 8 years.
Well,
between his
if he's
draft
not
picks,
if he's not one, he's 1A.
I think he's more important than Sirianni.
No question.
As much guff as Sirianni has gotten, he has still gotten to the playoffs every year. He's won a Super Bowl and he's been to another one. So let's stop with the Nick Sirianni bashing.
Right.
Jalen Hurts is a very good player. The offensive line is very good. They've got a lot of good players. But I think as a whole, I think Howie Roseman has done a magnificent job of making a team. Now, they draft Mekhi Lemon to be the A.J. Brown replacement.
Right.
And in paper, it looks like he's a perfect guy to be the A.J. replacement. Here's my concern if I'm an Eagles fan. The last time A.J. Brown got traded from the Titans to the Eagles, the Titans immediately tried to replace him by drafting Treylon Burks from Arkansas. First round pick.
That didn't work out.
In 3 seasons, Treylon Burks had all of 53 receptions.
Yeah.
So while everybody says Mekhi Lemon's going to be really, really good and a perfect fit, sometimes these guys work, sometimes these guys don't.
Yeah, that's true. But on the other hand, there's a difference between the 2026 version of what the Eagles should be and whatever the Titans or
I get that
whatever.
with
I mean,
Ryan Tannehill as the quarterback, and
right? Yeah, I mean
but that
it's a little bit different. So, I have a feeling that, and given I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, given that Roseman and Sirianni seem to have figured out how to keep themselves competitive. So yeah, I understand that. Yeah, sometimes that doesn't work out, but I'm going to err on the side of their choice because of their record.
see, this is one of the reasons why I threw out the Jalen Hurts name, because the Eagles clearly made a choice. They said we're Jalen Hurts is our guy, and we're moving
Yeah,
AJ
right,
Brown.
right.
So, and
Well,
Ted,
you
here's
you have
but
you
here
have to move the wide receiver over the. I mean, the quarterback
oh,
has to
100%,
stay.
100%. But Ted, here's the interesting thing to me. I heard somebody on the radio say, "Oh, there's another great job by Howie Roseman getting a first round pick when everybody knew they was going to move him." Well, Ted, the Dolphins got a first and a third in this past year's draft for Jalen Waddle from the Broncos. Who do you
Yeah.
think is a better player, Jalen Waddle or AJ Brown?
Well, I prefer Brown because if nothing else, just because he's big and fast.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I understand that argument because if everybody knows you're going to trade this guy, his value goes down. So getting a first round pick for a disgruntled wide receiver who you're going to move is still pretty good. I think that's
What
still
I
pretty.
would
They
say,
got he got two picks for the guy. He's still pretty good.
what I would say is, I love this trade for the Patriots. I have concerns about this trade if I'm an Eagles fan, because if Lemon doesn't work and
Yeah,
if Hurts plays like he did in 2025, which was average at best, this team could struggle offensively.
yeah, but that's the one thing. If you're struggling with wide receivers, there's usually a bunch out there that get cut from one team because they don't fit or they didn't, whatever. Yeah. So I'm not super concerned about this. I think the Eagles probably did this as a kind of hoping it's addition by subtraction kind of thing, just because
Oh,
whatever was going.
that's exactly what that term is exactly the one that I use: addition through subtraction.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
let's go to
it's
the
just
NBA,
whatever
and it
whatever was happening between them had to be stopped. So
had to be
yeah,
resolved. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. All right, let's go out to the NBA with the Knicks going into San Antonio, getting both games to take a commanding 2-0 lead, coming back to Madison Square Garden for games 3 and 4. Ted, before the series started, if you were Spurs head coach Mitch Johnson,
yeah,
and I told you that in the first two games, your defense was going to hold Jalen Brunson to a combined 19 for 56, which is a 34% shooting percentage from the field,
yeah.
would you have thought, oh, wow, we're going into New York with a 2-0 lead
Well, I certainly would have thought we'd be 1-1.
at the worst?
At the worst, yeah. I would never have imagined being down 0-2 with Brunson having that level of efficiency shooting. Yeah.
Now, Brunson was great in the fourth quarter of game
Yes.
one, but in game two, he really struggled. And I just, as I was watching game two, my grump could have been, Ted, for all of the attempts I made on the plane coming home. Uh, whatever night it was it Wednesday night was the first game? I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was on a plane, and the Delta plane had internet on the plane.
Right.
So I thought somehow I could get the game either on my phone or my tablet. I didn't work. So I didn't have a chance to watch a minute of it. By the time I got in the car, they were talking about how the Knicks had come back to get a
Yeah.
steal in game one. So I didn't watch a minute of it. But anyway,
Well, you got to go home and turn on your TV and watch it on YouTube. Watch the highlights if nothing else.
yeah. Um, but Ted, as I was watching game two, I was thinking, and by the time it was clear, I guess it was actually the end of the game. By the time it was clear that the Spurs were going to, I mean, that the Knicks were going to win, because the Spurs made that great fourth quarter comeback. But as I was watching that game, and I was thinking to myself, they are doing a great job controlling Brunson, and they cannot get ahead of this team. I thought the series is over.
Yeah, 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 probably more than likely. That's one point. My thing is Wembanyama needs to go down in the low post. Let me ask you a question. Actually, it's a two-part question. In your lifetime of watching professional basketball, what is the most how do I want to say it? The most unstoppable shot?
Kareem Skyhook.
What was the second most unstoppable shot? Two different guys from the same university kind of did it differently, but it's the same shot.
From the same university?
At different times. They win at different times. But
you talking about Walton?
No. Hakeem's turnaround and Elvin Hayes' turnaround.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
And the
two other guys were from I thought you was another UCLA guy. Okay, I got it now.
Yeah, but
no, I was going to say Hakeem's turnaround or Tim Duncan's off the glass.
Okay, all right. Where were they all shot from?
From the post.
No, but I mean 10 feet, 12
the
feet.
Low block, yeah.
Okay. The guy's 7'3", 7'4",
7'5". I don't know.
He weighs 200 pounds or whatever it is. I guarantee you. I mean, I'm not an expert on it. He's got a high center of gravity.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have what's he, 21, 22 years old, something like that. Yeah. So he doesn't have the full leg strength he may have down the road.
Yeah.
But still, I get, that he can throw one in from 3-point land every now and again and all this. But he's still got to go down low, because what could be the most unstoppable shot in this series is them lobbing the ball to him, because he either gets fouled or he catches it and throws it in, or they throw it out of the gym. It's one of the three things, but two of them are good.
Ted, two things. At one point I was watching, and this is the thing that really has shocked me in the Thunder series. The first two games, there were times that the Spurs half-court offense looked very bad, but we chalked that up to De'Aaron Fox not being in the game, not having their true point guard. In this series, in game two, I watched it. It was like there were times that looked like, guys, it's almost like they didn't know what they were trying to do offensively in the half court. They were just kind of doing picks around and Wemby's out at the top of the key. I'm like, but Ted, as they were making their run in the fourth quarter, at one point, Wemby got the ball on the low block. Towns did a great job defending him.
Okay.
But eventually he kind of did this little drop reverse pivot and did this left-handed bank shot.
Yeah.
And I went, why aren't we doing that on every possession?
I don't know. Because maybe he doesn't want to play down there. Maybe he wants to be Ralph Sampson. How many championships did Ralph Sampson win without Hakeem Olajuwon or Moses Malone? I got news for you. And in college, how many did he win? I got news for you. 0. Goose egg. Nada. Because he wanted to be a point guard, and he's not a point guard. He was 7'3". It was amazing to watch when he would throw one in. But Dean Smith figured it out in college. Let him shoot out there. It's okay.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you where another thing, and it's really not Wembanyama's fault. The end of the second game, is it 9 seconds left? It's tie score, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gets the rebound.
Yeah. Everybody's running away from him.
Right. Everybody. And then he throws it into his guy's back.
Yeah.
Now, that would not have happened if Jalen Brunson was wearing a white shirt, because he would have run and taken the ball out of his hands.
Yeah.
And somebody has to,
much as I love
he's
De'Aaron
not
Fox,
a point guard.
Yeah. As much as I love De'Aaron Fox has got to go take that ball out of his hands and get it up the court.
Or somebody, Josh Hart or Mikal Bridges or somebody else on the Knicks would have gone, even Towns would have gone and said, give me that.
Yeah.
And that I think that's part of inexperience on because that's a very young Spurs team. So I think
Yeah.
that they all did. I'm not the point guard, and off they went.
Yeah.
And or they're so used to him being able to bring the ball up in the regular season.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Is another regular season.
Mm-hmm.
I inexperience or whatever, but I guarantee you, somebody else on the Knicks had Towns gotten that rebound for the Knicks. He's not
You're
trying to
exactly
bring
right.
it.
Brunson would have been in his hip pocket before he even had the
Yes,
ball in his hands. Yeah.
yes. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to go get the ball from him. Yeah,
Ted, one other thing I wanted to say about this series, Karl Anthony Towns has been great.
yeah, he has been. Yeah,
Uh, he's averaging 19 and a half, which is okay. But Ted, in 2 games, he's 15 for 27 from the field, over 55%. And when he guards Wemby, he's doing a good job without getting into foul trouble. Earlier in the season, we said the Knicks are in trouble because their two best players in Jalen Brunson and Towns are both defensive liabilities. No one is going to mistake
they're not
Karl
playing
Anthony
on the
Towns for Bill
right.
Russell.
No, right. They're
But Ted,
not on the all
he
defensive team. No.
he's giving an effort and he's being effective. That's
Yeah.
all you can ask for. And
Right.
Ted, when you combine him with Anunoby, Hart, and Bridges, who are all really good
Yeah.
defenders,
Right.
they now have a really good defensive team.
Yeah, I mean, Brunson's not. He's not going to be again not all defensive team, but
No.
he's willing to mix it up
Yep.
and get in there and at least attempt to play defense.
Yep.
And Towns, he can't stop Wembayana from shooting over top of him, but he's getting in his way. He's
Yep.
pushing him a little bit, and they're clearly, I think, Robinson in particular, like the other night. Robinson pushed him, and Wembayana got away with an awful push back or elbow back into him, and they end up calling a technical on Robinson, which didn't make any sense at all. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think they're starting to get under his skin a little bit too because
Yeah.
they're willing to bang him, and he's just not used to it. Yeah,
A couple other things about the first 2 games. The Knicks have gotten great performances from secondary players. Game 1, 6'5", Hart gets 15 rebounds. Fantastic. Game 2, Mikal Bridges gives them 20 points on 8 for 13 shooting.
Yeah.
When I looked at the stats, I had a hard time figuring out how the Spurs lost game 2. They outshot them 47 to 41% from the field. They outscored the Knicks by 10 in the paint. But Ted, came down to a couple things to me in game 2. At least 3 times by my count, the Spurs fouled 3-point shooters and gave them points.
Oh.
I love Stefan Castle, and I love the energy, and I love the edge, but he's got to take it down just a notch.
You can't foul a 3-point shooter.
He makes so many stupid fouls, and then he kind of looks at everybody. He's like, he's mugging guys half the time out there.
Yeah.
They've clearly adopted the strategy of we foul every time the other team has the ball, and they just won't call it every time. Stefan Castle has got to take it down a notch. The other thing, Ted, is the Spurs attempted more free throws in game 2, 27 to 21, but they missed 8, shooting only 70% from the field, from the free throw line. So even with Mitchell Robinson, who's a god-awful free throw shooter, and now he has a brace on his hand.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He gets 6 free throws, and the Knicks still shot a better percentage than the Spurs did.
No, you can't. That's inexperience, whatever. I mean, it can't. That the fouls of the 3-point shooters. That's I don't even know where that you can't have that.
There was one time, I can't remember who it was for the Knicks, had the ball in the corner and the shot clock was about ready to run out. And he did a little pump fake. It might have been Shamet. And he did a little pump fake. And I can't remember if it was Castle or Vassell, one of those two guys who both play they both got to take it down a notch. They took the pump fake and jumped right into him. Instead of getting the ball back on a 24-second shot clock violation, they give the Knicks 3 points. And they end up losing by 1 point.
Yeah, right.
And so they gave them basically 9 shots on, and that was just, at this point, Ted, for this to be any kind of series, the Spurs have to steal 1 of 2 in the Garden.
Right.
They have to win game 5 at home,
Yeah.
and then they go back to the Garden down 3-2. And if they could get into a lead in Game 6,
Right.
the Garden crowd
Maybe.
could get a little dicey.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
That's
if
what they
they
have to
were
hope for.
yeah, if they were to go out in the first quarter and get a like a 15-point lead and sort of hold it into the second quarter, yeah, that could get really ugly
Yeah,
for the yeah. By the way, have you
yeah.
seen I happened to look, just do you have any idea what these tickets for the 3rd game are going for? I saw up in upper
Hey,
decks, 9 grand a pop. That's
yeah.
that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
If the Knicks win this series 50 years from now, there will be like 700,000 people who claim they'll have been
Yeah,
in
right,
the
yeah,
arena that
right,
night.
yeah, 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 yeah.
All right, let's go
Well,
out to the NHL, Ted.
there's still probably 100,000 people who thought they were at the Garden for Ali Frazier 1.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go out to the NHL, Ted. I think we would. Well, I know that we agreed that this was going to be a tight series.
Yeah, right,
So I'm not surprised that we have 3 one-score games and 2
right,
overtime games.
right,
Doesn't surprise
right.
me.
No.
I'm shocked that we have 25 goals in 3 games.
Yeah, that's a little surprising, yeah. However, if you think about it, neither of the goalies, although Hart had been playing great, Anderson had been playing great. Now, Anderson was playing against, I think it's very obvious now, lesser competition, right? But Hart had been great, but neither,
And had been very good against a very good
yeah,
Avalanche offensive team.
yeah, all through the playoffs. They've played better teams than
Mm-hmm.
Carolina has to get to this point. So he's been probably better. Um, But they're not giving up. The only bad goal I've seen that I can recall, at least at this moment, was the last one Anderson gave up yesterday, where
Which
Marner
is
comes
probably
down
what
this.
got him pulled.
Yeah, and that and I mean, I know that they, Brindamore was never going to give up. He's not. But he's probably going. Yeah, he might need a break.
Hmm.
Let's give him a break for this quarter. We're probably not going to make it back. Let's just give him a break and see how it goes. And then the other guy plays great, and they get a couple of ugly looking goals, um, and all of a sudden we're in overtime. So.
Um,
But both of these we talked about it. They're identical. They're essentially the same team. They're just slight variations.
um, yes. And I have it written down that as the Hurricanes were trampling their opponents in their 12-1
Right.
run in the Eastern Conference, that we talked about, and we talked about it in the Canadian series in those last 2 games, they had just completely worn the Canadians down to a nub.
Right. Right.
And we were really impressed by that ability to just choke the life out of a team. The Knights have the exact same quality.
Yes. Yes. So you've seen where in this series where you have stretches where each team has done that to the other for, a period of time. Like the first 45 minutes last night, it didn't look like Las Vegas builds up a four goal lead and Carolina can barely get into the zone half the time. And then all of a sudden it switches. Yeah.
And Ray Ferraro said something early in the second period that I thought after watching the first period last night, I thought to myself, okay, we finally got the series that I was expecting in the first
Yeah.
period.
Right.
And then in the second period, right out of the gate, there's the 2 disallowed goals and then the 4 goals that count. And now, Ted, you're Roddy Brindamore.
Yeah.
You're Rod the Bod, Ted.
Yeah.
Because I know you and he have the same workout regimen.
Well, I would have the same work I just don't have access to the same equipment and talent to help him. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
There you go. Sure. That's it, Jerry. That's it. It's gold, Jerry.
It's gold. Yep.
You're Rod Brindamore.
Yeah.
Who you starting in net in game 4?
Well, I have to think about one thing about Anderson, other than the last one that he led up. He led up, the one that his own team puts in.
Mm-hmm.
and the other two were kind of the ugly, tip
Yeah.
in kind of
Yep.
thing, where they can't really, there's not much they can do about it. However, I think I'm going to start the other guy.
Yeah.
Was it Bassey or
Boosie.
Vosi? Yeah. He looked really good.
Yeah.
They get beat on a self-inflicted goal. Um, he looked really good. Change of pace for Vegas to see him. They haven't seen him much. Anderson is older and did not play. I doubt he played because what they say he played. That was his 16th game in a row. He's played all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he was getting worn down.
I-
But they got to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to
Yeah.
win.
This is a crucial game, Ted. What I had not realized, and I heard one of the commentators talk about how Boosie and Anderson pretty much shared time.
Yeah.
Boosie actually played more games for the
Right,
Hurricanes
right.
this year. Ted, in 39 starts, they won 80% of his games, and he had the better save percentage. He stops 18 of 19 in the third period and in the two overtime periods. I think you have to go with him.
Yeah, I think you do. Because if you win, then you've got potentially a new hot goalie.
Mm-hmm.
And if you lose, you can always go back to Anderson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, but you go back to Anderson, you're at home, and
Yeah.
maybe that gives you a little more confidence or whatever. But yeah, I think given how he played last night, you have to give him a chance.
Yeah. Before game two, after game two, before game three, one of my notes was, I think this is going to continue to be a close series, and I think it may come down to which of the team's stars step up.
Yeah.
Because after game two, the Knights, what I would consider the Knights' best three offensive players, Eichel, Marner, and Stone, had gotten one goal.
Right.
Now, fortunately, Brett Howden had continued his Guy Lafleur impression and was lighting up the nets. How do you like that for Ted? I was torn between a Mike Bossy and a Guy Lafleur reference.
Yeah, you missed on both. You missed on both. It was the Reggie Leach that one year when he scored 1,000 goals in the playoffs.
How did I forget Reggie Leach? Oh my gosh!
Now he never went back across the red line.
Details.
Reggie could go forward and let it rip with the best of them.
And then conversely, who I would consider the best three offensive players for the Hurricanes, Aho, Jarvis, and Svechnikov, they had also only had one goal.
Right.
But last night Svechnikov gets one. But Marner
gets two. He gets two.
He got three.
Well, no, he got the one. Well, the one was a tip in. He didn't score. Yeah. But yes, he gets credit for three.
He gets credit for hat trick.
And he got an assist. Yes.
So I like Sebastian Aho. He's one of those really skilled offensive players that legitimately gives you a very strong effort defensively. He's always back checking. He's always playing both sides of the game. I like him. But it's time for him to step up and be.
Yeah. Got to be a star. Yep.
Yeah. And
first of all, let's be very clear about something. He's not playing if he doesn't back check and do those things for Brind'Amour. He's not playing that. No. But I mean, and you could say the same about Tortorella for that. But yes, he has to be their star. Yeah. He has to be.
They need a 3-goal performance from those three guys.
Yeah, 4 points might get it. If they had a couple of assists each, that might be the equivalent. But yeah, a couple of goals wouldn't hurt.
And there's something else that's interesting about this. I like Jacob Slavin. I think he's a really good player. I like Miller, the kid they got from the Rangers. But I tell you, they've turned the puck over a lot in their own end, and and Ted, God bless hockey players. 2 days after taking an 87-mile-per-hour puck to the face.
That may have been a large part of why they lost. I mean, I think Ferraro said, without him, because they only had 5 defensemen.
Right. And the Canes scored 2 power play goals right.
And he's on the power play kill.
Yeah.
So when McNabb, yeah, but 87, but yeah, just put a face mask on. We're good. As a, what is it? What I got 3 stitches and no teeth up top. Yeah, we're fine. Just put the mask on. It's gonna be fine.
The executive producer walked out last night. I was watching the first period, and she said, "I thought it was basketball this time." And I said, "No, it's one night basketball, one night hockey. Things are great." And then I said, "This is why I love hockey." 2 days after taking 87-mile-per-hour puck to the face, he's back in there, baby.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, they apparently he spent the night in the hospital after the
Yeah.
game. After he, well, that's fair. What? Get him on the plane. Let's go. Let's go. So they had to fly him. I guess they sent, the owner of the Knights is, he's, obviously loaded. So I'm sure he just got a
Yeah.
different plane and chartered him home. But yeah, he spent the night in the hospital in Raleigh and then flies home. And, probably in flight just called the equipment guy and said, yeah, just put a mask on it. We're fine.
Yeah. Ted, I really appreciate what the Golden Knights have built in 9 seasons there. The one thing, and I realize it's Las Vegas, but I don't need the pre-game show where the guy in the Knights outfit skates out in the middle of the ice and starts pointing his.
Yeah, I think they could update that. Yeah, that was kind of something, but last night,
That was almost my grump, Ted. That was
yeah,
almost my grump.
last night I kind of timed it. The game, it's at 8 o'clock, and I didn't, it's like 25 minutes later before they drop the puck. And it's like, geez, just start already. We don't need all of this.
I
But they
tell
did.
you,
Hey, look, they got how many people do you think were standing outside in 100-degree heat to watch that on the big screen last night? That's
well,
that's impressive.
but see, here's my comment about basketball and hockey, Ted, and baseball also. Each sport has to get it to the point where if it's a normal game within regulation, game ends by 11 o'clock East Coast time. Has to. Because us adults with jobs
Yeah,
can't stay up
yeah,
until 11:30 midnight on a
yeah,
weeknight.
yeah, yeah.
And granted, the NFL is a whole separate category, but they begin the biggest game of the year at 6:30 at night,
Right, right,
specifically for that reason.
right.
So
Exactly.
kids,
Right.
8-year-olds can watch the entire Super Bowl game.
That's right. Now, um, and TV dictates it, and they're in Las Vegas, so that game probably started at it either started at 5 or 6. I'm not sure which, because I know
I
I
think
think
it's a
Las.
2-hour difference. But Ted,
Well, I mean, I
if
know
I
that
were the
Las Vegas
commissioner,
doesn't change their clock though. I don't think they change their clock,
oh,
so I'm
that's
not sure
right.
if it's 2 or
But
3.
Ted,
But either
if
way,
I'm the commissioner of those three sports, I am saying, okay, I understand there's nothing I can do about overtime or extra innings or all those kinds of things. But if it's a 9-inning game, if it's a 48-minute basketball game, if it's a 60-minute hockey game, it has to end by 11 o'clock. That's my mandate. You
well,
guys do
you have
whatever
to
else you want
try.
to
Yeah,
do.
you have to try. Yeah. Well, part of
Oh
the
yeah, I mean,
problem would be
if you get
injuries can happen, stuff, or a game can be wild or whatever, but in the case like last night, we don't need to start. The broadcast is at 8 o'clock. The
right,
game has to start before 8:25. It can't start. It has to, all your garbage that you're doing before, nobody's turning in for all that garbage before the game. You can run a show.
100%.
They have a show before that called The Point. You can show all that junk before the game starts at
Yep,
8:05 latest. You're dropping
the
the
puck
puck.
is dropped.
Right. And in
Yep,
basketball, the tip is going up at 8 o'clock.
yep,
Baseball's as a in particular, the World Series and stuff should start no later than 7:30. Particularly
yeah.
in the
I
East, because
agree.
it just gets too cold. You're playing in
Yeah,
November, you know.
yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway, we've resolved
yeah.
that. Every
As
commissioner needs
always,
to
Ted,
listen.
Ted, if all of these commissioners would just listen to us, life would be so much better for all of them.
But
Let's
but
go
I
ahead.
I can't I don't under what I don't understand about this is that all these commissioners, how can you sit there and watch that stuff knowing that they've already had a pregame show
Yeah,
and not say to the TV, I don't need this garbage. Put the
yeah,
we're dropping the puck at 8 o'clock. If you don't want to show it, if you want your guys to pontificate for the next 20 minutes, that's on you. But we're dropping the puck at 8:05.
Yeah,
That's what they
agreed.
should do.
Agreed. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up there for the week. Thank you to our fans for listening. Please continue to check us out here on millions.co for these live events. Also, we have multiple social media platforms. We have a YouTube channel. We're also on Instagram, X, and Facebook. You can also send us an email at grumpybrothersports@gmail.com. And with that, we'll say good night, and we promise to do better next time.